So in your experience, do you think you could say to somebody that they could make a living off of just gigging?
Just gigging without teaching?
Yeah, without teaching, just gigging.
Yeah, you can. In fact, I did, but it depends. You know, if you want to make $100,000 a year, maybe you need to pursue engineering or something like that. But it's very possible to live comfortably and pay your bills. I've never had kids, so I don't know that aspect. That would be another amount of stress that I imagine. But I know musicians that do primarily just gigging. I would say you got to keep practicing. You got to be open-minded to many different genres of music, so you keep working. I'm a bass player primarily, so I get called for different genres of anything, and I'm down to do it all. You going back to when I was 21, working at Pizza Hut. That job wasn't very great, so I got offered to play in a country band. And back at that time, I mean, I love country music now. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I love George Strait numbers, you know, and all that now. Back then, I was mostly into jazz and mostly into hard rock and metal and stuff, and I was like, I have to play country music. But I looked at it as like, well, I'll be gigging 3 nights a week, making $300 a week, where I was making maybe not even half of that working at Pizza Hut, doing something that I didn't enjoy. As you know, I mean, actually, I kind of enjoyed Pizza Hut. You know, it was fun for the time when I was younger. You know, driving and whatnot. But still, it just made more sense. And then after I started playing, like for example, Neon Moon. You know. You got to really lock into that drummer. You got to really, you know, just, it made me listen. It made me more aware. And I played with that band maybe 4 years. And after it was all over, I was like, wow, I like that song. That's a good song. There's a good song in the genre of country music.
Yeah.
You may not like the twang of their voice, but... So you grow to appreciate everything. Anyway, the long story short, yes, you can make a living gigging, you know, and you know, but if you only have 1 gig a week, it'll be really rough, you know.
Yeah.
Right now I'm going through a slow patch, but my calendar's getting busy again, and it's. But most performers will teach on the side, and then some performers do not teach at all. So, but yes, it is possible if you hustle.
So, if you could tell your younger self anything, like something they should have changed or something about you now, what would you tell them?
Absolutely nothing, and I think that's interesting because I think what led me up to my life right now were the decisions that I made. And I mean, if I can put this brain into my 20-year-old brain right now, I probably would have do some of that. I mean, that's probably one thing I wish I had the knowledge that I did back then that I do now. But like I said, I can't think of one thing. Maybe being mean to somebody, but it has nothing to do with music. I mean, when you're a kid, you're kind of mean to certain other kids, and I would take that back, you know. So there's things like that. But as far as like me telling me anything about this, you know, everything's been a learning experience and has put me to where I am today. And so I don't think I would say anything, you know. And I probably wouldn't listen back then anyway.
So where do you see yourself in, I don't know, a few years? Where would you like to see yourself? Not that, you know, what would you like to work on, projects or? Yeah, well,
so going back 20 years ago, I wanted to, you know, perform and tour the world, and I did that. I toured 11 different countries in Europe, and it was really, really cool for the time. And this is just maybe a couple of years ago. I did that for 3 years, and I did 6 tours, and I never thought in a million years that I would be there. And that's what I wanted back then. And there were some weird things, you know, you need contracts. The gig was shady, so I ended up quitting, and it would be nice to do that again sometime with a real nice contract or whatever, you know. I don't want $1 million, but I want to be, you know, compensated fairly. But in a few years, you know, right now I'm doing exactly what I want to do again, which is I'm writing music. I would like to have one of the goals of mine in a few years. I'm already old. So say by the time I'm 45, which is like 4 years, I would like to have my own group, as I've never been a band leader. I've been a sideman my whole life playing bass, playing other people's music, which is fine. but I would like, and then right now I'm in a project right now that we have all creative input, and so I have my ideas, you know, writing down. But I'd like to be like have my own songs and performed by people, and to actually put out an album. I don't know if it'd be under my name or a band name or something, but have different musicians come in on different tracks, you know, because I know at least 50 or 60 musicians in this town that I gig with that would be good for certain songs.
Yeah.
Other ones won't be good. So I'd like to have my own album out one day with you know, hybriding Latin with rock and metal, with whatever, you know, like I just want to kind of, like, my goal has always been like, I want to take all these genres and maybe try to create a new genre. And that's how new genres are born. And I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I'm just going to keep trying, and it'll be fun.
And I think my last question for you is going to be, what is your weirdest gigging moment? Like the weirdest thing that's happened to you while you've been on a gig or touring with a band?
Oh, there's you know, PG stories. I mean,
It doesn't matter.
yeah, well, there's like in Europe, there was this drunk guy getting on stage and it touched my bass, and I pushed him off stage and knocked his ass down. But that's the thing. It's like, don't get in my space,
Yeah.
don't get near me. So that was kind of funny. I was in Germany, small bar, and I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of crazier stories. You know, just lots of wine. Yeah, I don't. We can come back to this question later, and I might be able to get a good, because I know there is good ones, you know,
Yeah.
there's some great ones, I'm sure, you know, but nothing like too crazy has happened, you know. Yeah, but anyway, I'll think about that one. You can maybe ask me that again.
Well, thank you
Yeah, you're
for
welcome.
interviewing
You're
me.
quite welcome. So one crazy thing I remember, my very first European tour, and I think it was, maybe we had like a 10 show little run in Europe, and it was in the Netherlands. We played in this bar that had an extra room with the thing, and so after the gig was all done, you know, me and Mikey, the drummer, were having a few beers, and this guy comes in like frustrated. He looked like Elmer Fudd, but he was frustrated because he lost his wallet, so he started, you know, kind of harassing the customers, and so somebody kind of just pushed him out of the way, and he got mad, and he left, and he came back, and so he came back with a gun. And it's like, I didn't even know you're allowed to have those in Europe, you know? So anyway, so the drummer tells me, hey, what the F? This guy has a gun. And I looked up and I just said, let's get the F out of here. That's a good idea. So we just ran to the back, and they had like a backyard in this place, and we just kind of like till it calmed down. And I guess the news story said it was a flare gun, but it looked like a real gun to me. But that was kind of crazy, you know.